to the channel. Today we're going to be covering a Q&A. I placed a comment out on Facebook and our other social media outlets, and I was able to get a couple questions that are pressing right now at this moment. So I wanted to go ahead and address that in this video. Again, today's only going to be roughly 10 minutes. We're going to always try to keep it nice and low time frame wise. Again, the PowerPoint or the slides will also be in the link in the description below, so you can go ahead and hop onto those if you happen to want a little bit more information that I may not have covered in this particular session. So let's go ahead and pop right into it. So I know right now everybody is affected in some shape or form with the payroll tax holiday, and there was a couple times I had a few people ask me this prior to the tax holiday coming into effect, and I also did get a few questions on that, so I wanted to quickly address that with everybody so that they know what's going on. First and foremost, let's first let you guys know which taxes are under the holiday, and it would be the employee side of the Social Security and payroll tax. And what this has done is the company that you happen to work for, they have the option to not draw those taxes from your pay stub, from your pay, and hold it into their accrued count that they always hold for any taxes that are paid. And you have the option, and you still have the option, to not have the company draw those taxes. So you can have a little bit more right now. You have to remember though, these taxes have to be paid after January 1st of 2021. So it's not really something that is a permanent, it is just temporary for the remainder of the year. Though the tax holiday did start on the beginning of September, you can always have your company make the change now so that you can do that moving forward. Though you still want to keep in mind that starting January 1st, your pay will be reduced by the amount of taxes that it accrued over the course of the last 4 months during the year. Again, just a reminder, this is not something that is currently permanent on the date of this recording. And if this was to be turned into a permanent holiday, you'll definitely be getting something from me. So keep an eye out on the channel. You can always follow me on Facebook and other social media, and I'll be able to provide the information if there is going to be a permanent change or what sort of situation is going to occur at the end of this payroll tax holiday. So that went ahead and addressed a very common item that is currently being affected right now for a lot of people. Again, if you need more information, I'm going to have the slides down below in the description. Comment down below as well in case you may not have understood something or you may have a few more questions. Just go ahead and comment down below. I'll gladly be able to answer them as quickly as I possibly can. So keep that out in mind. So another question I've had a few times is, due to the reduction of revenue, due to a lot of companies, a lot of individuals running into a lot of tough times because of the situation we're in currently here in the US and in the world, how can an individual, how can a company be a little bit more secure in their finances, or how can a company prepare for a situation like this that may really push them to the edge? And as is common in a recession and a depression, a lot of companies do lose their physical offices, physical presence out in the community, out in the public. And as a lot of companies are running into this problem, it has definitely been on a topic that I've addressed a few times. So most companies are looking at a lot of things right now for reduction in their expenses and trying to find ways to get their revenue back to where it was 8-10 months ago. And unfortunately, it's not going to be something that's going to be a quick turnaround. So the first thing I would suggest to any company falling on hard times right now is stepping back and taking a look at their balance sheet. And your balance sheet is basically what assets you have, what liabilities you have, basically what loans, what credit cards, any other sort of payments you have due to a vendor. And it's important to take a look at that, because if you have gotten yourself into a situation where you can't ride out this lack of revenue, this lack of public support, this lack of physical public appearance, then that means you're not running your business in a very conservative fashion. And when I mean the word conservative, it is, let's not do more than what we feel is going to be effective, and we're trying to push the envelope a little too far. And with a lot of companies that were looking to expand, a lot of companies that were pushing up against their credit lines, pushing up against their loans, and just really minimizing their thought process on making sure that their liabilities and their payables are being effectively used. And so looking at the balance sheet is very crucial to make sure that you're effectively using your loans, effectively using your payables, your credit cards, and things of that fashion. And also remembering that you can't pay those things unless you have money in your account. So making sure you have your cash, making sure you have your savings and your CDs and any other sort of vehicle that's going to allow you to make those payments in a particular time like this, where it may be 4 or 5 months that you won't have 100% of your revenue. Maybe you're going to drop 25, 30, 40% of your revenue. So you have to take that to account. So making sure that you have the proper cash flow of funds just coming into the company is crucial in times like this. I know as an individual, as a person, we have a different way of thinking when it comes to our pay and how we as individuals set aside payments for your mortgage, your car payment, any other large payment like that, and understanding that right now it's very difficult to have some sort of emergency fund or a fund that's going to allow us to take care of those expenses if the time is not as fruitful as we hope it would be. Now, our suggestion in that case, and that applies to businesses as well, is once things start to come back open for all of us, or at least get to the levels that we had it prior to this situation, or even close, 80-85% of our revenues, it is a very good idea to turn around and take a look at what our loans are, what our credit cards are, or what our payables are, and make sure that we're utilizing those. And we're not just overdoing it because we have no revenue or just because we're pushing our revenue too far. So I would definitely take a few days, or sit down with a tax accountant, sit down with an accountant or a financial advisor to make sure that you're utilizing your business and you're not pushing too hard. Now, this may work for a lot of the larger businesses, maybe medium size, and maybe a few small businesses can do something like this because they may know a family or friend or thing of that nature. Now, if you're a really small business, or if you're somebody that's just an independent contractor and you're finding work here and there, it is definitely a good idea to sit back and take a look at what you're doing. And if you're utilizing your time more appropriately, maybe you can expand your public and look to another area of the community. Maybe you look to another company that you may felt like you didn't want to work for, or you may not feel that is more ideal. Unfortunately, in a situation right now, and I think a lot of you already have considered doing something like this with a company that you may not want to work for. So keep an eye out on something like that as you move forward, and hopefully this will make you a little bit more secure in your financial side of your company moving forward. So we're hopping up on right around 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and just recap everything we covered today. So today was the Q&A, and I wanted to make sure we got the important things out today, being the payroll tax holiday, making sure we address what particular taxes are going to be deferred, how you can make the change, and again, all this information will be in the slides below. in the description below. So if you do need any more information, it's going to be right down below. So your payroll tax holiday, that's going to affect things a little bit, but again, you can make the change. And attempting to take a look at your financials and see if you're utilizing your revenue, if you're able to survive a recession or a depression or a massive loss in your revenues due to some unforeseen event. Making sure you're taking a look at your balance sheet, making sure you're looking at all your assets, and utilization of those assets is very crucial when you're on a business. So taking a moment, stepping aside, and really taking a dive into those financials. So I hope everybody was able to get a little bit of information out of this video. Now the next one we're going to address will be some tips that we've decided to put together for businesses for your personal taxes or even your accounting side of things that'll help you move along after you've taken a look at your books due to the situation right now, your loss of revenue, your increase of expenses. So we're going to provide a few tips for businesses and for individuals so they can take a look at everything and maybe make things a little bit easier as we move forward. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to this, and hopefully it was informational. And as always, don't forget, knowledge is power.